In this video, I'm going to show you the best defense to use right now in Madden 22 to completely shut down your opponent. Now, we've covered some other defenses on the channel throughout the year, but this one right here is the one that I believe is the most popular right now, and it is the nickel 2-4-5 odd. And there's a few different plays we're going to talk about, but the main play we're going to look at is the pinch 2. Now, you want to make sure in your settings that your auto flip defensive play call is set to on. When you're in a game, you can set this from your coaching adjustments menu. And up on the screen right here are all the playbooks where you can find this play and formation. Now, the reason you want your auto flip on is because you always want your cornerback that's blitzing to be on the side with more wide receivers. Now, this is a very common formation. In fact, it's the most popular formation in the game, shotgun bunch. Then you have formations like bunch tight end that are somewhat similar. You have 3 receivers bunched up on a side of the field. With your auto flip on, it's going to make sure that your blitzing cornerback is always on that side of the field. Now, there's a bunch of different things you can do with this defense, and that's why it's so versatile. Now, the one thing that it's probably the weakest against is the run, but you can shoot gaps to stop the run, which I will show you later in the video. If you want to know how to stop the run, make sure to stick around. But first, we're going to kind of show the pass defense, how to get pressure, different ways to get the pressure and stuff like that. So a basic setup, especially when you're playing these compressed formations like a shotgun bunch, is you first want a base align, which is wire triangle, and then right on the left stick. Then you want a pressure defense, which is wire triangle down on the left stick, so you're going to get this kind of a look here. Then what you want to do, if you want more pressure, you can kind of just leave it like this, but you also want to crash your defensive line out because it does help with the pass rush. To crash your defensive line out, it's left on the D-pad, up on the right stick. So 3 quick adjustments. You can do that before the offense is even lined up and able to hike the ball. Now, the key here is you need to take the linebacker that's in the gap here that's on the same side as the running back. So clearly our running back's on the left, so we would take this guy. Now, if the formation was flipped, our defensive formation would also be flipped, and we'd be on this side of the field with this linebacker. You need to take the linebacker that's on the side of the running back, and you kind of like come back right here behind this defensive end that's on the ground, because if he runs the ball, there's going to be a little gap that opens up where you can shoot it, which we'll show later. But you need to anticipate that on every play, because if not, you know, they're going to get easy rushing yards. So you kind of swoop down into the gap and then you drop into coverage, and you can see just like that how we got a guy off the edge free. That will happen a lot when you blitz 5 people, because you can see by default we have 5 people blitzing, the 2 outside guys and then 3 guys on the D line. So again, you baseline, you press, you crash D line out. That's it. We're already set up, and then you're just going to kind of run down into this gap just in case they're running. And look, that time we got 2 people in free. That's why this defense is so good. We got 2 people in free. Typically you'll get 1 in free with nobody blocking. Sometimes even when they block the running back, one of them will come in free. Now, really quickly before we finish on in this video, I do want to let you know that I did launch my Patreon a while back. The link is below in the pinned comment. There I post a lot more advanced weekly tips, offense and defense, and schemes and ebooks and stuff like that. So if you want to take your Madden game to even a higher level, check that out in the pinned comment after the video. Now, another thing that you can do with this is you can drop an extra guy in coverage, which will be typically the cornerback that's blitzing. Now, you're not going to get as good of pass rush. You'll still get pretty good block shed pass rush out of this formation, which is good, but you're not going to get the quick pressure that we just saw. But sometimes you don't need that. Sometimes you need the extra guy in coverage because the person you're going against is a quicker passer, he's more skilled, and you want to kind of mix it up. Now, what I will typically do with this guy is put him into a curl flat or a purple zone by pressing A or X on that player, and then right on the left stick. Now, it's important to know that in your coaching adjustments, you want to set your zone drops, or else these 2 guys are going to kind of go to a similar spot in the field, which you will see here in practice, because you can't set your coaching adjustments in practice. You can only do it in game. But what I would do is I would set my curl flat zones to 5 yards, maybe 0 yards if I'm trying to be aggressive, and then you would set your regular flats to go about 20 to 25 yards back. So what would happen with this defense here is when the ball is snapped, this guy would start drifting back, and he would drop about, you know, right here on the field. And then of course your safety is going to drop over top of him into the end zone, and then this flat right here would drop, you know, to this area of the field, which would take away the quick flats. So this is kind of how they would be spaced out, you know, when after the ball snapped. You know, this guy's dropping back here. This is how these 3 guys would be spaced out. It'd be like a triangle pretty much. But in practice, they're going to not do that as much because I can't set my zone drops. So, you know, that's what you would want to do if someone's beating you with a quick flat. If you're blitzing, right, and they're hitting the tight end on the quick flat like this, as you can see, well, if I set that curl flat to drop 5 to 0 yards, he's going to be right there, and he might pick that for a touchdown, or he's going to limit it to no yards. So that's how you can switch up the coverages that way. Now, I kind of just want to show you the pass rush if you drop this guy back. Now, again, I'm gonna kind of drop right here, you know, over the middle of the field, and you'll notice that you can see the block sheds are still really good. Now, notice the flat is open on the left, right? Something's gonna be open. You can't rush 4 or 5 guys and have the whole field blanketed, so it's on you to make those adjustments. So say you do want to take away the flats, you know, maybe what you might do instead of dropping this guy back, maybe you're not worried about the tight end, maybe you're worried about the running back, so maybe you would drop this guy instead. If you're just trying to switch it up, I don't really recommend doing this too often, but if you're just trying to switch it up because maybe they're just quick hitting you to the flat, right? Maybe you drop that guy back and you put him on 5 yards, and again, right here, he's not going to defend it as well because I can't set my zone drops in practice, but in a game, if I had him set, he would jump down there and defend that much better. Or, you know, maybe you just send the all-out blitz and you go over there, right? You might leave the middle of the field open, but it's all about what you think your opponent's going to do. When you know you're getting quick pressure, you need to take away their first read, because a lot of times if they look to that and it's not there, they might either force it to you and you get an interception, or they might hold the ball, they don't progress to the guy that's open right away, and they still get sacked. So you kind of have to bait around and play with your opponent. Now, if you want to do an all-out blitz, you can also do that. So you would do the same setup, basically. You would baseline press, crash your defensive line out. You always want to do that. But then you can go ahead and blitz all linebackers as well if you want to send an all-out blitz, which is right on the D-pad, down on the right stick. So now the middle of the field's completely open. So if I was doing something like this, you know, I would probably look to do this in more of a longer yard situation where they can't just throw a quick flat and beat me. It's 3rd and 10, it's 4th and 10, maybe it's 3rd and 15. And what I would do, same thing, I would get right here on this guy, right? I, you know, swoop down in, and then I drop into coverage, because when you're blitzing 6 guys, the defense thinks we're blitzing 7, because what we're doing is we're rushing down with our user momentarily. So the defense thinks, you know, or the offensive line thinks we're blitzing 7. Really, we're only blitzing 6. But what this also kind of guarantees is that you're going to, no matter what, get quick pressure, and you're going to make them have to just snap throw the ball. Now, even, you know, they might have something open, you know, over the middle of the field, but that's where you're running, right? You're running over the middle. So if he tries to throw it to B, I'm there and I'm picking that off, or he's holding it and taking a sack. But another reason I like to all-out blitz is because even if they max protect, which means blocking their running back and their tight end, even if they do that, a lot of times you're pretty much going to still get somebody in free, because you have all these guys rushing down. And even if you don't, you're going to get quick sheds, and you got all these guys in coverage. So that's another thing. Even if they try to throw the max protect at you in a long yard situation because they're trying to buy time, if I got all these guys coming down, we're going to still get some pressure on you. Right there, I blitzed 5 guys versus a max protect and still got someone in free. So that's why this defense is so powerful. Now, to stop the run, what you want to do is just how we're swooping down every play. When they actually hand the ball off, you're just going to continue through this gap that's going to open right here. And what you want to do is actually dive at the running back by pressing the X or square button. In this year's game, diving is really overpowered. You can dive from a long distance and kind of get them by the legs, and that's kind of how you want to approach stopping the run. Now, you can also use the cover 3 and the man version of this blitz. You've got the 3 buzz sting press and the pinch 0. They're not as good as the pinch 2. The pinch 2 is just going to be better all around, but if you want to just kind of mix it up and throw something different at them, you can use these plays and just set them up the same way. Your baseline press, crash D-line out, and like, let's just say, you know, it's a 3rd and long, and you want to kind of send some heat at them, right? You want to send that all-out blitz that I was talking about, where you rush 7, but you drop a guy back into coverage, so you're really rushing 6. But maybe you want 3 deep zones on the field, and you don't want to have to manually adjust the cover 2. You know, you can kind of do it that way, send the quick pressure at them. You know, you're leaving the flats open. Again, this is a 3rd and long situation where you're okay giving up the flats. You might want to mix that in, or, you know, you can also just come out in a cover 3, and maybe you want to drop your outside blitzers into purple zones that are going to take care of the flats. Again, basically what you're doing here is you're just kind of giving them a different look. You're just giving them a cover 3. You know, you're going to have pretty good block sheds with the guys you got here. It's just a different look. It's not a main thing that I'm going to run. I mean, you can see, again, we get good block sheds. We got pretty decent coverage on the field. It's just different things you can do to kind of mix up and throw different things at your opponent. Again, you can use the man version of the play as well and set it up the same way if you want to do kind of a man blitz. The only thing with this is that, you know, sometimes your guys are going to line up a little funky, so in this case, I might have to move him there and then come down here with my safety. But it's like, let's just say you're trying to throw a blitz at them, but you want everybody manned up, you want like everybody accounted for type thing. It's just another mix-up, but typically you're going to stay in the cover 2 version, I would say like 90% of the time. Hope you enjoyed the video and found it helpful. Subscribe if you're new, and I will see you guys next time.